Rule number 9, dead ball. Ball in play. In section 1, the ball is dead. The ball is dead and not in play in the following circumstances. When the ball is batted illegally. When the batter steps from one box to another. When the pitcher is taking the signal or appears to be taking the signal from the pitcher's plate, or for SP only steps on the pitching plate. Then section 2 is the ball is in play. The ball is in play in the following circumstances. First, at the start of the game and each half inning, when the pitcher has the ball while standing in his pitching position and the plate umpire has called play ball. When the infield fly rule is enforced, when a thrown ball goes past a fielder and remains in playable territory. And next is section 3, delayed dead ball. There are 5 situations when a violation of the rule occurs and umpire recognizes it and the ball remains live until the conclusion of the play. Then these situations are in illegal pitch, catcher's obstruction, for the FP only, plate umpire interference, obstruction, and detached equipment contacting a thrown ball, a pitch ball, or a fair batted ball. Next is rule number 10, umpires. Section 1, power and duties. The umpires are the representatives of the league or organization by which they have been assigned to a particular game, and as such are authorized and required to enforce each section of these rules. They have the power to order a player, coach, captain, or manager to do or omit to do any act which, in their judgment, is necessary to give force and effect to one or all of these rules and to inflict penalties as herein prescribed. The plate umpire shall have the authority to make decisions on any situations not specially covered in the rules. For general information for umpires, the umpire shall not be a member of either team. Examples are player, coach, manager, officer, scorer, or sponsor. And second is the umpire should be sure of the date, time, and place for the game and should arrive at the playing field 20 to 30 minutes ahead of time, starting the game on time and leave the field when the game is over. A male and female umpire must wear a powder blue, long or short sleeve skirt, dark navy blue socks, dark navy blue slacks, dark navy blue cap with the white and blue trimmed ISF letters on the front, dark navy blue ball bag plate only, and then dark navy blue jacket or sweater, then black shoes and belt. Section 2, the plate umpire. The plate umpire shall take a position in back of the catcher. He shall have full charge of and be responsible for the proper conduct of the game. Shall call all balls and strike. He or she shall by agreement and incorporation with the base umpire call plays, hit balls, fair or foul, legal or illegal cut balls on plays that would necessitate the base umpire leaving the infield. The plate umpire shall assume the duties normally required at the base umpire. It shall determine and declare whether a ball bunts or chops a ball. Section 3, the base umpire shall take such positions on the playing field as required in accordance with the relevant umpire systems. It shall assist the plate umpire in every way to enforce the rules of the game. Section 4, responsibilities of single umpire. If only one umpire is assigned, his duties and jurisdiction shall extend to all points. The umpire's starting position for each pitch shall be from behind home plate. On each batted ball or play that develops, the umpire shall move out from behind the plate and into the infield to obtain the best position for any place that develops. Section 5, change of umpires. Umpires cannot be changed during a game by the consent of the opposing teams unless an umpire is incapacitated by injury or illness. Section 6. Umpire's judgment. There shall be no appeal from any decision of any umpire on the grounds that he was not correct in his conclusion as to whether a batted ball was fair or foul, a runner safe or out, a pitch ball, a strike or ball, or on any play involving accuracy of judgment. No decision rendered by any umpire shall be reversed except that he or she be convinced it is in violation of one of these rules. Then, next is Section 7, the signals. Signals indicate the play shall begin or be resumed. The umpire shall call play ball and at the same time motion the pitcher to deliver the ball. A strike shall be indicated by raising the right hand upward, indicating the number of strikes by the fingers and at the same time calling strike in a clear and decisive voice. Section 8. Suspension of play. An umpire may suspend play when and his judgment conditions justify such action, and play shall be suspended whether the plate umpire leaves his position to brush the plate or to perform other duties not directly connected with the calling of plays. The umpire shall suspend play whenever a batter or pitcher step out of position for a legitimate reason. Rule 11. Protest. Protest in Section 1. Protest that will not be received or considered if they are based solely on a decision involving the accuracy of judgment on the part of an umpire, or if the team lodging the protest won the game. Example of these protests that will not be considered are whether a batted ball was fair or foul, when a runner was safe or out, and whether a pitch ball was strike or a ball. Section 2. Protest that will be received. Protest that shall be received and considered includes matters of the following types: misinterpretation of playing rule, failure of an umpire to apply the correct rule to a given situation, failure to impose the correct penalty for given violation. Note: protest for the above must be made before the next pitcher or before all infielders have left fair territory, or if on the last play of the game before the umpires leave the playing field. After one pitch has been thrown, legal or illegal, no change can be made on any umpire's ruling. Section 3. Protest involving judgment and interpretation of the rule. Protest may involve both matter of judgment and interpretation of the rule. An example of a situation of this type follows when one out of the runners on second and third bases, the batter flied out. Section 4. The notification of intent to lodge protest. The notification of intent to protest must be made immediately before the next pitch. Exception of this is player ineligibility, and the manager of or acting manager of the protesting team shall immediately notify the plate umpire that the game is being continued under the protest. The plate umpire shall in turn notify the opposing manager and official scorekeeper. All interested parties shall take notice of the conditions surrounding the making of the decision that will aid in the correct determinations of the issue. Section 5. Time to lodge an official protest. The official written protest must be filed within a reasonable time. In the absence of a league or tournament rule fixing the time limit for filing a protest should be considered in filed within a reasonable time, depending upon the nature of the case and the difficulty of for obtaining the information on which to base the protest. Within 48 hours after the scheduled time of the protest or contest is generally considered a reasonable time. Section 6. Information required for written protest. The formal written protest should contain the following information. First, the date, time, and place of the game. Second, names of the umpires and scorers. Third, the rule and section of the official rules or local rules under which the protest is made, the decision and conditions surrounding the making of the decision. And last, all essential facts involved in the matter protested. Section 7. Result on protest. The decision made on a protested game must result in one of the following. First, the protest is found invalid and the game scored stands as play, When a protest is allowed for misinterpretation of playing rule, the game is replayed from the point of which the correct decision was made, with the decision corrected with a protest for ineligibility of a team roster member is allowed in the game shall be forfeited by the offending team. Rule number 12, scoring. First section, the official scorer shall keep records of each game as outlined in the following rules, shall have the sole authority to make all decisions involving the judgment. For example of this, it is the scorer's responsibility to determine whether a batter's advance to first base is the result of hit or an error. However, a scorer shall not make a decision which conflicts with the official playing rules or with an umpire decision. Section 2, the box score. Each player's name and the position or positions to be played shall be listed in the order in which he batted or would have batted unless the player is legally substituted, ejected, or removed from the game or the game ends before his turns a bat. Section 3. Base hits shall not be recorded. A base hit shall not be recorded in the following cases: when a runner is forced out by a batted ball or would have been forced out except for an fielding error. Second, when a player fielding a batted ball retires a preceding runner with ordinary effort. Third, when a fielder fails in attempt to retire a preceding runner and, in the scorer's judgment, the batter runner could have been retired as first base when a batter runner reaches the first base safely as a result of preceding right runner being called out for interfering with a batted ball or a defensive player. Section 4, Sacrifice Fly Balls. A sacrifice fly ball is scored when less than 2 outs, the batter scores a runner when a fly ball which is caught or the ball or the line drive handled by an outfielder or an infielder running in the outfield is dropped and runner scores, and in the scorer's judgment, the runner could have scored after the catch had the fly ball begin to cut. Section 5, Runs Batted In. A run batted in is a run scored because of one of the following reasons: a safe hit, a sacrifice bunt or slap hit, or sacrifice fly, a foul fly caught, an infield put out or fielder's choice, a runner forced home because of obstruction, the batter being hit with a pitch ball or being given a base on balls, and last is the home run and all runs scored as a result. Section 6. The pitcher credited with a win. A pitcher shall be credited with a win in the following situations. First, when he is starting pitcher and has pitched at least 4 innings and his team was not only in the lead when he is replaced but remains in the lead for the remainder of the game. When a game is ended after 5 innings of play and starting to pitcher has pitched at least 3 innings and his team scores more runs than the other team when the game is terminated. In Section 7, pitcher charged with a loss. A pitcher shall be charged with a loss regardless of the number of innings he has pitched if he replays when his team is behind in the score and his team thereafter fails to tie the score or gain the lead. Section 8, the game summary. The summary shall list the following items in this order. First, the score by innings and the final score. Second, the runs batted in and by whom hit. Third, base hits and by whom hit. Fourth, 3 base hits and by whom hit. Fifth, home runs by whom hit. Sixth, sacrifice flies and by whom hit. Then, double plays and players participating in them. Triple plays, player participating in them. Number of walks given by each pitcher. Number of batters struck out by each pitcher. Number of hits runs allowed by each pitcher. The name of the winning pitcher and the name of losing pitcher. Then, time of the game. The name of the umpires and scorers. Stolen bases by whom. Sacrifice bunts. And many more. Section 9. Stolen bases. Stolen bases are credited to a runner whenever he advances one base unaided by a hit, a put out, an error, a force out, a fielder's choice, a pass ball, a wild pitch, or an illegal pitch. This includes a batter runner advancing to a second on an awarded base on balls. Section 10. Records of forfeited games. All records of a forfeited game shall be included in the official records except that of a pitcher's won last record. That's all. The small summary discussion for the rules of softball. Thank you.